The PlayStation Plus free games for the month of June are set to be revealed very soon, and in this video, I want to take a look at 3 games that we would love to get. Now with this series, I always try to make the games very logical, and games that we could actually potentially see on PlayStation Plus. We won't be seeing games like God of War or Detroit Become Human on PlayStation Plus. That just doesn't make a lot of sense, but with these 3 games that I've picked out, I feel like they're very logical games, and games that would actually influence purchasing decisions of future releases. And if you have any requests on what games you'd like to see as game offerings on PlayStation Plus, make sure you leave them in the comment section down below. I feel like it's very important to actually be vocal about the titles we see on PlayStation Plus, because last year we were vocal about how disappointing the Plus offerings were, and this year it seems to be a lot better, so let's continue to be vocal. So without further ado, let's talk about these 3 games. First up, I have The Crew. Now, The Crew would be a very logical game offering, as The Crew 2 is set to be released at the end of June, and I feel like The Crew 2 has very little hype surrounding it. The Crew was one of the most ambitious game releases early this generation, and I think many would agree in saying that the game didn't really live up to expectations, at least not at launch. It had some technical issues, some online issues, and the fact that the game was always online, that did hamper the game quite a bit, but overall, the premise of The Crew was very interesting. It's a racing game set in a persistent open world. There's always something new to do, and I feel it's a game while a lot of gamers didn't give it a chance, especially because it was released all the way back in 2014, and I know many of you guys got your PlayStation 4 well past that. I think it's a game that a lot of gamers would be open to revisiting. Just hearing the game and hearing the description of the title, it's a very interesting game and premise. It's just that execution of The Crew wasn't absolutely flawless, but it was a title that got better and better. They released expansions in The Crew Wild Run that was released in 2015, and then The Crew Calling All Units was released in 2016. Again, The Crew 2 is scheduled to be released worldwide on June 29th, and that looks to be making the game even better. It looks to be a lot more versatile of an experience with The Crew 2, while with the first title it was just cars. The Crew 2 is introducing cars, motorcycles, boats, and airplanes, and with all of those vehicles in The Crew 2, expect different styles of gameplay with each single one of them. And you know that Ubisoft is pouring a lot of money into the development of The Crew 2, but the anticipation and hype level just isn't there at all. What better way to increase the anticipation level for The Crew 2 than offering The Crew as a free game to PlayStation Plus users? Maybe asking for all the extra downloadable content would be a bit much, but nonetheless, I think offering The Crew as a PlayStation Plus title would be really good, and I think a lot of gamers would be shocked by how good of a game The Crew is, because it has a little negative of a reception behind it. The PlayStation 4 version of the game on Metacritic has a 61, and at this point, the version of The Crew that you'd be playing in 2018, I think it's much better than a 61. I would say it's more around a 75 to an 80, and that's not a bad score at all, so The Crew would be a great offering to PlayStation Plus subscribers.
On the road, instantly transforming your car from street racing beast to off-road monster if you felt like peeling off the highway and bombing down a hillside. But Wild Run also adds the ability to modify your cars for drifting and drag racing, because nothing complements rain-slick streets like squealing tires. You can even transform them into unstoppable monster trucks to literally steamroll the competition. Monster trucks also get their own arenas, which feel like oversized skate parks where you can ramp up to precarious heights and execute mid-air spin tricks for a higher score. And speaking of tricks, Wild Run also adds motorcycles, giving you new ways to explore the landscape, take maximum advantage of the numerous ramps scattered around the world, and knife through obstructive traffic at high speeds. If you're doing something especially cool and want to immortalize the moment, Wild Run's photo mode lets you not only take a picture, but create the perfect shot by adjusting everything from the camera angle and lighting to the weather and the motion blur of the surrounding scenery. This also comes in handy for immortalizing your victories in the Summit, Wild Run's monthly community challenge series. Summit events aren't a small undertaking, and before you can even get a ticket to the main event, you'll need to earn medals in Summit qualifiers, practice summits that appear on the map for a limited time, challenging you with a series of...
Moving on from that, another game that I feel would elevate the anticipation of another collection coming out, and that's Megaman Legacy Collection. Now, there is the Megaman Legacy Collection and Legacy Collection 2. I'm just asking for us to receive one of them, and I feel it would get gamers excited for Mega Man X Collection that is also launching in July. Mega Man is a franchise that gamers are very nostalgic about, but at the same time, I think a lot of gamers have forgotten about Mega Man. And on top of that, we are getting a brand new Mega Man game in Megaman 11 later this year, so this would just serve a lot of good offering Mega Man Legacy Collection as a plus title. Not only would it give gamers a great collection of games to check out, it would raise anticipation levels and awareness for the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, and even more so, you're also raising awareness and getting gamers familiarized with this style of Mega Man game before the release of Mega Man 11. There would just be so much good done with Mega Man Legacy Collection offered as a plus title that I see no reason not to do it. This collection itself has been received very positively. It's got an 85 on Metacritic, so as just a standalone product being offered to Plus subscribers, I think they would be very satisfied by it. But again, it just serves so many purposes, and it does so much good marketing wise and just getting the word out there about the other various Capcom projects, the Mega Man X collections, as well as Mega Man 11, which is rumored to be released in October of this year. So I think June would be a perfect time to offer the Mega Man Legacy Collection. And finally, I have a third title on here that's a little bit off the wall, a game that a lot of PS4 owners haven't given a chance to because it is a more PC-centric style of an experience, and that is Pillars of Eternity, the Complete Edition. Now, Pillars of Eternity was a game developed by Obsidian Entertainment. They are one of the most underrated studios in all of gaming. That is not hyperbole. They've done some great games, including Fallout New Vegas. They did Dungeon Siege, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. Of course, they did Pillars of Eternity. Most recently, they did release Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. Currently, that game is only available on PC, but just like the first title, it will be coming to PlayStation 4 down the line. And right now, the critical reception for Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, the common consensus is this is one of the best, if not the best RPG that Obsidian has put out. And again, they've done Pillars of Eternity, they've worked on a lot of old school games, they've done Tyranny. And the issue with Pillars of Eternity is, to the common PlayStation 4 owner, it's a very hard sell. Just looking at the game on the surface, visually, it's nothing to write home about, and this was a game that was released at a full $49.99 price point. So just looking at the game at a surface value, it might turn you off, but once you actually get into Pillars of Eternity, it is an absolutely engrossing experience with a great story, great dialogue. Now, I do have to mention with the first game, one of the issues is that it's a lot of reading, not a lot of the dialogue is actually voiced, but that is remedied in the second game. The entire second game is fully voice acted, so that would be an experience that would much more cater towards your typical consoleized gamer, but still, you have to somehow get their foot in the door with Pillars of Eternity, and I think offering Pillars of Eternity the Complete Edition as a PlayStation Plus title would do a lot of good, because not a lot of gamers, even at Pillars of Eternity's price point, I don't think they're willing to give this game a shot, and that's an absolute shame because it is a masterfully written and masterfully designed RPG, just a different style of an RPG. No, it doesn't have the production values of a Witcher 3 or even a Fallout 4, but the world, characters, and gameplay that Obsidian has crafted within the Pillars of Eternity is absolutely tremendous. And with the Complete Edition that was released on the PlayStation 4, it does come with the White March and White March 2 expansions, so you get even more content of an already content-filled experience. And again, with Pillars of Eternity 2 at some point being released on the PlayStation 4, you want to get this game as a PlayStation Plus title prior to the release of Pillars of Eternity 2, ideally a couple months prior to the release of Pillars of Eternity 2, because this is a game that you want to invest a lot of time into. We're talking north of 100-150 hours, and there's a lot of replay value in the game as well. A title that I've always gone to bat for, and while it's made a big impact in the PC scene, it seems like it hasn't resonated as much over on the PlayStation 4, but it does make a very smooth transition over to the PS4 with the control scheme, obviously much different than playing with a keyboard and mouse. You're using the DualShock 4 controls, but the game plays really well. So Pillars of Eternity, the Complete Edition, another title I think would be a great addition to the Plus lineup of titles.
The gods tend to keep their distance, even among the faithful. That suits us fine. Last time the god headed our way, he killed thousands. After we stopped him, a whole generation came out wrong. This is our punishment. It's no way to teach a lesson. If it's something else, maybe we can stop it too.
So that is going to conclude this video. Let us know what you think. Do you agree with my analysis? The Crew, I feel, would be a great title to get us ready for The Crew 2. There just doesn't seem to be any anticipation towards The Crew 2, and a big reason for that is probably the fact that The Crew wasn't received all too well at launch, and not a lot of gamers have given it a chance since then, but it is a much better experience, so why not let gamers experience The Crew and experience it at its best form by offering it as a PlayStation Plus title. Mega Man Legacy Collection, either 1 or 2, would be an absolute home run, would get gamers aware of Mega Man, aware of the fact that Capcom is doing more with the franchise with a Mega Man X collection coming in July, as well as Mega Man 11, which looks to be coming sometime in October. And finally, more of a wildcard suggestion is Pillars of Eternity, the Complete Edition, a game that's so terrific, a great RPG done by Obsidian, and while it's resonated really well over on the PC, even though it made a solid transition over to the PS4, it doesn't seem to have that same fanfare over on the console market. So sound off with your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.